normal zakat.
Okay.
Normal zakat is yearly because it's one of the pillars of Islam. When you have the money and zakat has been entered that money, you should give it out. If you don't do, it means you don't have Islam. Unless that specific amount that you must give out zakat from it at not to reach that money. Okay. Because every year you must have 2,700,000 plus.
So does it mean anybody who doesn't have that cannot give zakat?
No, if you don't have that kind of money, it means zakat is not compulsory on you.
It's not compulsory, but I can still do it.
It's when you have that kind of money
that I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah, that you're supposed to do it.
Oh, so my giving is not zakat if I don't have up to that. I could give, but it's not zakat.
But what you give is not zakat.
It's not zakat. Okay. Okay.
Because if you want to give that zakat, the Sunnah says that you should give that poor person what is going to spend for the whole year. Not some token amount of money that you say that I've given him 50,000 K. No. You should give him or her what is going to spend for the whole year. That is the Sunnah.
I don't think many people are aware of this, because I often hear people say in Yoruba, Yosaka, and they just give anything. That means many of them are
no. That's not the way to give zakah. That's the only mistake we're making, we Muslims. And I think the scholars are trying their best in order to explain the rules that's regarding zakat. Every time, but you know, those who have that money, they don't want to give that kind of, and it's very, very talking about money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
10%.
Because when you say you have 12,700,000 plus divided by 40, what's going to give us? Is that? I mean,
it's not even 10%.
No, it's not 10%.
Divided by 40.
Divided by 40.
Oh.
It's 2.5. 2.5 of the money that you have. So as that money is going up, that is when the cap that you are going to give out will be increasing. That's it.
Okay, so earlier you talked about the sighting of the moon as well.
Yeah.
Some people fast for 30 days or 25. So what's the significance of the sighting of the moon to Eid celebration? Why do we have to watch out for the moon before? We already know it's 20. Why don't I just fast for 30 days and just decide, okay, it's 30 days, it's off? Why do I have to?
I said earlier on that Islam is not based on one's opinion.
Okay. It's
based on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran and the saying of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala wasallam. So if you go against these two books, it means you are not by Islam as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted. That is why Muhammad sallallahu says, Aftiru ru'yati'i. You search for the moon before you start your fasting.
Okay.
It's not something that you can say that I will start my own fasting tomorrow as I want to. No. Start your fasting by sighting the moon. So when you see it, you start. That is when Sha'ban is 29. You see, because the month in Muslim calendar is either 29 or 30. So when the month is 29, we have to start sighting for the moon. We have to start sighting for the moon. So when we see the moon, it means that month is 29, and the next day is going to be the first day of that next month. And the same thing applicable to when you want to do the celebration. You have to sight for the moon too before you do your celebration. So when you see the moon, it's Bikhalas. Okay. It means Ramadan has been completed, either 29 or 30, based on the new moon sighting. And Muhammad says, when you are sighting for the moon, due to the cloud of the heaven, you cannot see it clearly. Then you complete it, making 30. When the sky is cloudy, for instance, and you cannot see the moon clearly, maybe it's out or not, then you complete the month 30. But if you can see it clearly, it means the next day is going to be the day of celebration. So that specific day is not based on one opinion or based on astronomy. Those who have the knowledge of sighting the moon. No.
Okay, so that's it. I would want to ask if what happens when the moon is not sighted, but we'll do that after this break. The program is still Breakfast Fiesta on Oluyole 98.5 FM, and we've been talking about the significance of Eid al-Fitr. Now, before we went on the break, I said, has it ever happened that the moon was not sighted? And if the moon is not sighted, what happens?
As I said earlier, when the moon is not sighted, it means that we are going to complete Ramadan for 30 days. And the next day after 30 days is going to be the first day of the next month, which is Shawwal. Okay. We have the celebration is going to come.
Dr. Kabir, regarding that, Shawwal, what is the significance of Shawwal, or what would you rather say is Shawwal itself?
When
call it Iftar Shawwal, if I'm correct.
Firstly, in Shawwal, entering the month of Shawwal, it means we have entered the month of Hajj, because the month of Hajj is starting from Shawwal. And at the same time, after Ramadan, you have 6 days in Shawwal.
Yes.
Fasting 6 days in Shawwal. And that is the sayings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I say, من صام رمضان ثم أتبعه بستة من شوال فكأنه صم دهر كله. So when you fast Ramadan and you follow that fasting with 6 days in Shawwal, it means you have fasted for the whole year, which is 360 days.
Okay, so when you complete the Ramadan fasting, then you go with Iftar Shawwal. That means you've completed it.
No, when you have to go for Iftar, the first day of Shawwal. Okay. But after that Iftar, you still have 6 days of fasting. So okay. It's not necessary that you should take that fasting
immediately.
Yeah, you can take it maybe one, but you should try to fast 6 days out of Shawwal. So when you do that one, because when you have, every fasting is 10 rewards.
Okay. Okay.
Every fasting, 10 rewards.
Each fasting.
Okay. 10 rewards. And it can be up to 70 rewards. Wow. So that is how they made the calculation, that you have the reward of the whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the whole year is 360 days, right?
Yeah.
So that is it. I have many people that they do pray and come to mosque regularly during Ramadan. But when Ramadan gone, you will not see them in the mosque again. Yes. You can see that during Ramadan, you can see the old masjid, the old mosque is full of people that want to pray. But after Ramadan, where are those people? That's why they say, إن الرمضان قد مضى. Ramadan has gone. ولكن رب رمضان لم يزل حيا. But the Lord of Ramadan still alive, and will be alive to the day of judgment, even after the day of judgment. لأنه هو الحي القيوم. هو الحي, the one that should always be alive all the time. tabaraka wa ta'ala.
Wow, that's very good. Okay, so do we have some set of people who are conducting, who must, or that is mandatory for them to go through this fasting, whether you 80 years above, whether yes, those group of people, or even children also?
Well, let me start from the children. Children has not reached the age of puberty. Like when we are talking, for instance, boy. When we see a boy that is fasting at the age of 8, 10, 11, it's not compulsory on him or her. It's just a training. So in order to know that when you reach some age, which is 15 years for the male, that is when his book has been opened in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where all the good deeds will be written down and the bad deeds will be written down. But before that stage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not ask him. And it's not compulsory for him to go to mosque. It's not compulsory for him to do fasting. But when he's going to mosque and doing fasting, that is what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to be doing with our kids. That we should try to teach them how to go to mosque. That is why it comes from one of the sayings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, muru awladakum bisalati sab'in. Try to command your children to go to mosque, to pray when they reach the age of 7. And when they reach the age of 10, beat them if they didn't go to mosque.
Wow.
You see?
Yes.
So it's not compulsory for those who has not reached that specific age that I mentioned earlier on. But when we have someone of the old age, 70, 80, and he think he cannot cope with fasting, yes, he can do something else to replace that fasting. That is what they call fidya. It means to give food for the poor each day
of the
for 30 days. No, for 30 days during Ramadan. That is what they call in Arabic يعني فدية. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين. Those who don't have the capability of fasting, there's something else that they can do in order to replace the fasting in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is to give food to the poor.
Okay.
And at the same time we have those who are having the period concerning women.
Okay.
So when you are doing your period, you shouldn't fast. For instance, you are doing your period, you used to do your period for 5 days or 3 days or 7 days. That's 3, 5, 7 days you should not fasting. It means you are going to pay back after Ramadan.
With how many days?
With the specific day that she used to see a period. For instance, if she's seen a period for 3 days, it means after Ramadan she's going to pay back 3 days. For 5 days, it means it's going to pay back. She's going to pay back 5 days.
Is it any time after Ramadan or immediately after?
No, it's any time after Ramadan.
Okay. They can still celebrate the.
Even those who are menstruating, they will go for celebration. The only thing that they will not be with us in the same place where we are praying, because it's not allowed for women that is on a period to enter mosque. It's not allowed for her to pray. It's not allowed for her to do fasting. Likewise,
why is it not allowed?
You see, I've given one rule since the beginning of this program, and the rule is that Islam is not based on one opinion. It's based on what is it in the Quran, the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The
reason why I'm asking is probably in the Quran. Maybe it was explained why. That's why I'm asking. Was it explained why it was just given that?
In the Quran al-Karim, we are talking of the menstruation. It was mentioned in the Quran. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ أَنِ الْمَحِيدِ كُلْ هُوَ أَذًى فَاعْتَزِلُوا النِّسَاءَ فِي الْمَحِيدِ. This verse is talking about women when she is on a period. That we man, we should not move closer to her. we can do whatever, maybe we can make love with her, but when the intimates, we shouldn't go there to have sexual intercourse with her during that period. That is what the verse is saying, that we should not go there. The same thing about fasting. Aisha, that is one of the words of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The women, they came to her and they asked her. They say, "Kunna," Aisha say, "Kunna nahidu fi zamanin Nabi sallam." We used to have a period during the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa kunna nu'maru bi qada'i as-sawm, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to command us that we should repay our fasting. وَلَا نُؤْمَرُ بِي قَضَاءِ الصَّلَاةِ. But all those salah, that praying that we have left behind during the period of menstruation, we don't need to say that salah back. For instance, you didn't pray for good 5 days. So after you finish your period, there's no need to say that I should return back that the prayer for 5 days. But fasting, you should pay it back, because fasting is just once in a year. But salah is something continuous that you will be doing continuously, non-stop. So when it comes to someone, a woman that is in the stage of pregnancy, and she knows that to fast for this condition, I will not be coping with it. So she too is allowed not to fast during Ramadan.
Does she pay back after delivery?
Yeah.
Okay.
When she's very okay after delivery, so she's going to pay it back.
Pay it back. 30 days.
For the days she left, no, for good 30 days. Because at times some woman will be in pregnancy during the Ramadan, so she will not. I have someone that is in pregnancy now, so she's not fasting since the beginning of Ramadan.
So who ensures that she fasts? Will she be the one to determine that she must fast, or?
No, it's based on the Quran and Hadith.
And it's based on her obedience.
And damn.
On her obedience of the Quran, not like somebody is supervising and ensuring she does it.
Nah. Whatever we are doing in the Quran and the Kareem, it's not by force. I shouldn't force you to go and pray. When I force you, you will not know the significance of praying. So that is why when Allah say, "Oh, you should go to mosque and pray," it's not meant from anybody.